Happy Wednesday! We're gonna do our saint video today instead of Friday just because Good Friday is this week and a lot goes on Good Friday. So yeah, happy Holy Week. I hope you're all having a blessed week so far and just leaning into Him. Today we're going to talk about a saint who's not quite a saint yet according to the church, but this is Blessed Chiara Corbella Petrillo. This is a watercolor painting I have of her. Beautiful, beautiful woman, and I'm just going to give y'all a very brief condensed version of their story. So whenever she was 18, she met her husband Enrico on a pilgrimage. They got married, they got pregnant, and found out about halfway through the pregnancy that their child would not survive once she was born, but they chose to for Chiara to carry her to term anyway. They gave birth to Maria, and about 30 minutes after she was born, they had baptized her and just loved her, and then they handed her over to the Father. And so then they got pregnant again and found out again that their child would not survive after birth. Chose to carry the baby to term again, gave birth to David, and again about 30 minutes afterward he was welcomed into heaven, and they just, gave him to the Father. So then she got pregnant a third time, and of course they're thrilled. A lot of people, were like, maybe y'all shouldn't, or you should wait because, the track record and you've had so much suffering already. But they really trusted God and His will, and so they were overjoyed, and their baby was healthy. And then they found out that Chiara had cancer. But instead of getting treatment for her cancer, she decided not to because she wanted to make sure that the medicine didn't affect her unborn son. And so she chose not to be treated, gave birth to their son, healthy, beautiful Francisco. He's named after St. Francis of Assisi because he just held a really special place in their heart. And she started getting treatment right after that, but they soon found out that her cancer would be terminal. And so she lived for about a year of their son's life, and then she passed away on June 13th, 2012, which that fact in itself I love just because Chiara is proof that saints are still being made, and they're all called to be saints, and it is possible in our day and age to be saints. Yeah, that's what we're called to. But so their life, just in that short, very condensed, watered down version of their life that I just shared, you can see that there was so much suffering present in their life, but the suffering that they underwent, especially Chiara with her cancer as well, became a holy place for her because that's where she encountered God, and that's where she was uniting her suffering to Him. And so she found so much peace and strength and comfort in that, because it's just so intimate when we suffer and we unite that with Jesus, and that's what transforms our lives, or that's what I found transforms my life the most, is those intimate moments of my suffering with Jesus. And a quote that she wrote in a letter to their son that I love, it says, "Whatever you do, it will only be meaningful if you think about eternal life. If you truly love, you will realize that nothing belongs to you because everything is a gift." And a lot of people, I think with saints, we always think they're, so extraordinary, which in ways they are, but they're also very ordinary people like us. And Blessed Chiara reminds me of Saint Therese in the sense that she just focused on taking the small possible steps every day, and just doing what she could and what she felt she was being asked to do in that moment, and not thinking about the big picture, but focusing on that day, being in the present with God and what He was asking her to do. And her friend said that her constant prayer was to ask God for the grace, to receive the grace that she needed to do what He was asking of her, which I think is so beautiful and something that we can take away as well, is just to focus on the present and not get overwhelmed by the big picture, and just ask God for the grace to receive what we need from Him, because everything is a gift. And that's one of the things they realized through the lives of their children. Even though they only got about 30 minutes with 2 of their children here on earth, they recognized that every single little thing is a gift from God and to be celebrated as such. And so I think that's a good mindset for us to take on, especially right now during the middle of quarantine. And another quote that her husband said is, "The truth is that this cross, if you embrace it with Christ, ceases to be as ugly as it looks. If you trust in Him, you discover that this fire, this cross does not burn, and that peace can be found in suffering and joy in death." I chose Chiara because I think we're all recognizing a lot of suffering in our world, maybe in our families, in our own hearts, as we've been stripped of a lot of the things that are normal to us and what we're used to. And it's hard to know how to handle it. And with Holy Week, with Jesus' passion, we're also walking through suffering with Him. And this woman, I'm going to tear up just looking at her, because you can see the physical signs of her suffering. This is after she's already lost 2 of her children. She has cancer and she knows she's going to die. And look at that joy, guys. Like, that is the joy of Christ. That is the joy that Jesus offers us. That is the freedom that He offers us in a life with Him, and when we unite our hearts to His. And so I just find her story so comforting and encouraging, and I've been praying for her intercession just for all of us, that we could also find joy in suffering. And I'm going to leave y'all with a quote that her husband wrote, and that they really focused on at all the funerals of both their children and then Chiara. And it's, "We are born never to die. We were made for eternal life." That is the truth, the fact. Our whole existence wraps around that. We were made for eternal life with God. So I want to ask you, what are you doing to prepare for eternal life? I hope you'll have a blessed Holy Week. We are praying for you here at Epiphany, and we love y'all, and God bless.